was hoping you'd volunteer to do that. It's hard to introduce yourself when you do it through the talk, but go ahead.
All right, for those, like I said, my name is Jenna Apgar, and I do want to welcome you all here today, both of y'all, there's more than two of y'all, but the ones in the office, but the ones on Facebook Live as well. And for the audience, we do try to film as many as possible on Facebook Live, just so if you do miss a week and you're like, oh my God, like next week is Jeff Klein, you don't want to miss one and then be like, I wish I could have seen that one. Most of the time, Facebook Live works, all right? But today we have David Roberts. He is my partner or co-founder in Business Growth Network and has helped us put this together, put the meeting together, help structure the stuff that I don't like to do. But one of the biggest things that he brought and the ethos that he brought to the table was the idea of visioning. Yeah. And you don't really think about how powerful a vision is until you're flagging it and you're falling on your face and you don't know why, and you're not getting sales, and you're not getting appointments, and you're not meeting those goals. It really comes down to vision. And I mock him a little bit because there's a singular question, and I'll let him give it away, that even myself, when I'm having one of those days and I'm believing the bad advice that everyone gives you, right? Everyone knows those people that give you group think bad advice. And then I turn to David's singular question. It's like, I curse a little, maybe a lot in my head and be like, I know the answer, I know how to do it. But David's a big help. And if there's how many people have a vision right now? Clearly defined, written on paper, in video format? Right. Yeah, I killed y'all there. That is what David does best. So if you'll give me a warm round of applause for David.
Good job, awesome.
You're getting better.
And I know how much you love standing up in front of a crowd and speaking. So the thing that she said, I'll end the suspense right here, is basically, she says, nobody wakes up in the morning looking for a vision. And the reality of it is, not specifically that way, but when I get done here, you'll kind of understand that you maybe ought to wake up or at least revisit that as you go through. The two things we're going to talk about today, the power of vision is the title of this talk. And I want you to, the bulk of the talk is going to be why vision. There's a few slides at the end where I'll talk about the vision challenge, what I call my vision challenge now. And that we will get into in a little bit. If you could give me, Jenna, like a 5-minute
morning
to where I need to land the plane, that would be awesome, because you know me, I get carried away. And one of the things I want to clear right off the front, and I know some of you have heard me speak before, and this is a talk, but most of you have not heard me talk before. And one of the things, I am here because I commanded to love you. And I do everything that I do, at least my intention is to do everything that I do in a way that serves you. So I want you to understand that that is the thing. There's nobody that I ever wanted to serve more than my children. And the way I can illustrate my intention here is one of my encounters with my oldest daughter, who is now 36 years old, when she was about 3 years old. And I know Jenna's heard this story and some others, but I did a thing every night with her, and I traveled all the time. And but every time I was home, I would have this time of reading to her. Anybody read to their children or have had been read to? Okay, if you've ever done that before with a child, especially a 3-year-old or whatever, it's a very precious time, and it's very important. So I was with her, and I was with Michelle, and I was reading her. And one night, I just got totally consumed and really wanting to deliver a message to her that I'd never delivered before. And I looked at her and I got kind of emotional, and I said to her, Michelle, there's nobody like you in the whole world. And I was almost crying, and I was looking, and she was looking at me, and we had this moment, right? You ever had that moment? And I had this moment with her, and her little lips started to quiver, and her eyes started to tear up, and I thought, and you do this when you're speaking, you look at audiences, right? And you say, okay, I'm making a connection here. And what came out of her mouth next was, nobody likes you either. So my point is, listen to my heart in this talk. I may say something that you may disagree with or may offend you, or may hurt you in some particular way because of something maybe I am not aware of, or maybe what you walked into the room with or came on to the video with. But understand, my intention really is not to offend you or hurt you or say something that whatever. My intention is here in this talk is to serve you. Is that okay? So again, these two objectives are the ones that I really want to talk about. And the first one is why vision. So I'm going to hit the next slide here, and we're going to talk about first the zombie apocalypse. How many have heard my zombie story? I'm in the process of writing a book. I basically use the zombie metaphor to describe our current condition. And frankly, if you read the introduction of the book, if you read anything, and I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead. I'm current on The Walking Dead, by the way, if you want to know anything that's going on there. And I find that the zombie metaphor really matches very well with where we're at, because many of us are going forward without moving in our own intention. A zombie goes forward infected by a virus. We're not going to talk about all the viruses as I make the case for the zombie apocalypse, but I will tell you we're all infected by a number of viruses, okay? And we're infected by a number of viruses every day. In fact, each of you in your 30 seconds today brought an intention to seed a virus in the room. That virus is to get me to move forward in your intention of me or somebody else in the room connecting with you, right? So part of it is being a zombie is not being aware of your vision. The title of the book is Vision Warrior, Survive and Thrive in the Zombie Apocalypse. If you can get that. But we're not going to talk about that today, other than that's in my head, and you will hear it sometimes come out in here in that. So I woke up on a plane after over almost 40 years in the corporate world, and found myself in a zombie apocalypse. I found myself going through the motions. I had all the things that I thought I wanted. I had all of the things, and realized that my oldest daughter had gone off to school, and I wasn't doing the highest value, my most important identity factor, which was I wanted to be the best dad possible, and I was not present. I was going through the motions. I was taking my and I looked in the mirror, and I could even see a little dullness in my own eyes. And that was the beginning of that was in 2005, and that was the beginning of my journey of now where I am today. And I won't get into the entire journey, that wouldn't be that. But the importance of that was I finally connected, and I was meeting sales goals. I was meeting financial, personal goals. Wasn't necessarily meeting all my health goals, to be honest with you. I was not also meeting, as you already picked up, my relationship goals. And I realized that even though I kind of knew all of those things, I didn't have them ordered. I didn't have clarity. I hadn't even, at that point now in retrospect, realized I hadn't even captured all of those things. I had some discovery to do, as well as getting some degree of clarity. So when you're talking about your business, let me ask a question. And this is going to be a little interactive, and it's okay, even though this is a talk. It's intended to be kind of more of a workshop format. So how many of you are totally and completely satisfied and elated with where you are in your business? Okay. How many of you would say, if you were really honest with me, that I'm kind of frustrated in my business, or maybe I haven't achieved exactly what I want? Okay. Pretty much everybody raised their hand. Let me ask another question while I've got you working with me here. How many of you are in your business or doing what you're doing in life? One of the things, not the only thing, but one of the things that you're working towards or you have achieved is financial independence. Nobody here wants to achieve financial independence.
Oh,
Okay,
I
thought you said did you have you
Did you
achieved?
say
Okay.
you have?
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I asked the question, because the second question is how many of you have? And the answer is only 0.37% of the population of the United States has achieved and or will achieve financial independence. That means if you never worked another day in your life, you never monetized another thing in your life, that you have everything you need to live the life that you want. The fundamental there is, if that's what your objective or your goal, you say that's your goal, chances are that's part of one of your frustrations. How many of you, I could ask another question, how many of you want a perfect body?
Of course.
Right? Of course. 100% of the people, if they were honest, would say, yes, I would love to be able to look in the mirror and see a perfect body. The second question is, how many of you have a perfect body? Okay.
There you go.
Good, okay, and that's fine. I mean, again, you can say I do, that's totally cool. That's why I said back to the question of your business, right? The reality of it is, that's all a disconnect. The reason that is, it's a disconnected vision, and I will tell you that 99.9% of the people are living in some form of fantasy. And one of the things I want to talk about in a minute is that's not what we're focused on. So the other thing is, why do we have vision? Vision is required in your business, knowing where you're going, being able to look at the horizon, understanding your highest values of what it is you want to accomplish in your life and in your business, with me, is determined by sustainability, your ability to see that even when the mountains get on the path. You understand? Things get in the way. Does anybody run into problems? Every day, right? Do you ever set a goal that you didn't achieve? We'll talk about that in a minute as to why that is, because there are multiple reasons why. The other thing is that you ever run into somebody who was on one path and then you saw them in a networking meeting down the way and they're on a different path? And then you see them in another networking meeting and they're on a different path? And you see them in another, Why do you think that is? Could be a lot of different reasons, but one of them may be, there may be different paths to the same vision, and maybe they have a vision and they're adjusting. More often than not, they're getting stuff done, but they're never thought about the direction they're going. If I told you to go out of here and go to my house and didn't tell you where it was and didn't give you, a picture and just said head out, do it quickly, drive, go north. You'd be very frustrated, right? At some point you get frustrated. So the key is, you have to be able to see it. The other thing is, I told you to leave here, and I gave you the exact directions, but I blindfolded you and said, don't take the blindfold off. If you didn't see again where you were going, right, it wouldn't work for you, would it? You'd probably run into something before you get out of the parking lot. So that's the other thing. So sustainability is a key to vision. If you're going to stay on your path, and I say sustainability not only in your wealth or your business or your career, the things that you monetize, but it also is in your health and also in your relationships. I'm going to talk about those three areas. So your health, your relationships, and your wealth are all tied to vision. The other thing I will tell you is it's like a tire. I have a company, a wellness company now that I'm part of, and we have depicted as a compass. I like the analogy of a tire when I talk about vision in your holistic life, because it doesn't matter where the hole is. Everything in your life, everything in your business either inspires you or does what? It expires you. And it doesn't matter where the tire has the hole, is what's going to happen. The air comes out, and you are a whole and complete business, a whole complete person. It includes your business, your health, and your wealth. Okay? So, wellness, as I say, and wellness, by the way, I use it in my well-being compass to really talk about personal, spiritual, mental, and physical health. But also, when you talk about wellness, you're talking about the wellness of your endeavors as your business. What are you doing? How well is your business? And wellness actually fuels the dream, in all three of those areas. And the dream also fuels wellness. Now, I didn't talk about dream for this reason, because my unique reason, the reason I am standing here, the reason I have determined, going through my own vision challenge and understanding what it is, why I'm standing up here today, is one simple thing. I want to change the world one dream at a time. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how that maps to vision, because vision and dream in a holistic sense are synonymous to me. Okay? You don't have to agree with that, but to me, they're one and the same. I'll only talk about what that means, so in terms of dream. So, and the way I want to do that is to talk about a dream versus a fantasy. Remember when I asked you the question, how many want financial independence? How many of you want perfect body? How many of you want 2 times the customers you have, or whatever? And you said, yeah, I do, but no, I don't, have it. The reality of it is, when you say you want things, if you find yourself speaking into I need to, I want to, I should, that's called the language of imperatives. And what that says to me, and what it should say to you if you're self-observant and self-aware, is one thing. You're not serving your highest purpose. You are not serving your highest purpose, your vision. Let me say it one more time. You are not serving your highest purpose. Whether it's in your health, whether it's in your wealth, or whether it's in your business or in your relationships, okay? So if I need to spend more time with my kids, that means when I say it, or when you say it, if your vision is something you're not in, there's one of two problems. The one problem is, I don't know what my vision is, okay? I really don't. I'm not connected to it. I think I do. But the more real problem is you're a zombie. And I say a zombie not in a disparaging way. I say that basically you are working for somebody else's goals, their vision for you. You are serving in what I call injected goals. You're serving something where you say, somebody's told you, and I'm not, again, remember the love part of this? I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not just saying, but some of you, somebody's told you, you need to do this, this, and this. You need to have this goal. You need to do that, whatever. Whether that's a good goal or a bad goal, if you don't know how it gets you down the road, like we talked about before, if you don't know how it gets you to my house or my office, what? It's frustrating, right? You're frustrating yourself. And that problem, that disconnect, you can set. We did a year in review earlier on. I talked about that in one of my other talks from the last year, and we talked about resolutions, right? Those are really, I'm taking on a bunch of goals that I think I should have, but I haven't really matched those up to the vision that I have to see if they're really going to get me there. Or even if they would, I haven't connected those dots. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's called alignment. I don't spend a lot of time when I'm talking about the vision challenge and visioning about alignment, but until you get your vision defined and then you come up with a plan, then the vision will never be totally real to you. It will never be clear because you have to connect those dots. If you have, I said here, if you have a goal minus vision, you have frustration. So if I have a goal to double my business, everybody here said, I'm here, I want to make connections, and most likely a lot of us are wanting to grow our business, get connected to somebody else, right? You come here and you don't see the connection or even know why you actually came. Don't know 3 things. I'll mention it again and I'll mention it in a few minutes. You need to understand your unique reason. You need to understand your unique vision, and you need to understand your unique value. Those 3 things are the fundamentals to the vision that you would craft for yourself. Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. Dream is made up of your dream. Who you are is made up of two things. The highest one is your identity. The highest one is who you say you are. And in my way of looking at it, that is two things. One is your unique reason, and the other part of your identity is your unique value. Do you believe today that you have a purpose here that nobody else has? If you don't, you need to figure that out, because we are all unique. We are all and we are all here, regardless of your source, for a purpose bigger than ourselves. And we're put here, I believe. If you don't believe it, don't take it. I'm just saying we're here for a unique reason. Call it a purpose, call it a why, call it whatever. I call it a unique reason. Which is mine is to change the world one dream at a time. I've come to, that's what I believe I want to do right now. That's where I believe I was put here. To be a vision warrior, to help people figure out what their vision is and then help them achieve that. That's what I want to do. That's me. That's not you. You have another one. They sound like that and they look like that. Don't take mine for a simple reason. Now you're taking injected values. Now you're taking injected goals. You want your own. So, and then the other one is what I call your unique vision. Jenna calls this, and we say this in the Vision Challenge, is the signature question, right? The signature question is, if anything were possible, what kind of future would you imagine for yourself and your business? If anything were possible. That's without limit. Not financially. If I could, I can do this and this and this. It's not a path forward, it's a path back once you define where you're going. See, the whole process of alignment, and as you take your vision, the power of the vision is once you know what once you really know and you're really excited about that ideal day you're going to live, the things that you're going to do, and you kind of have a plan. You won't be constrained by the plan, but you have a plan. You can kind of see and believe the fact that you could get there, which is the alignment process. Then the power is nothing's going to get in your way. As Warren Buffett says, you're going to wake up and you're going to, skip to work every day. And it's not really work because you're fulfilling your highest value, your vision, and you're moving towards it. So think about the power. You came in here today as a networking group or came on the thing, and think about how much power you have if you go on a sales call or you go to a networking group or you just want to go on a date and you go into the room, any room, and you say, I know why I'm here. I know the value I can bring to you if you just take it. And I know where I'm going. How attractive do you think that is? We all talk about, Jenna talks about inbound traffic. You want inbound traffic? Know where the hell you're going. Know why you're going there. And know the value you provide along the way, so how you're going to fund your journey. Cool? Does that make sense? So those three things. That's the power. But let me tell you this. It's inspiration, not manipulation. If I tell you that this will change your life, it would be an understatement. If you understand the things that I'm trying to share with you today, even a little bit, it literally will change your life. It's literally changed my life. I literally was working with a guy in Iceland yesterday, and he said to me on the phone, it changed my life. And this is a successful guy. I've worked in the corporate world before I started with entrepreneurs and stuff, and seen people running multi-billion-dollar businesses say, and their calendar's so full they can't even find 4 hours to sit down. And they did, and they said, it'll change my life. So vision is not something, if you're sitting here going, I'm not really sure, maybe I need to just spend my time on my email marketing campaign, or maybe I need to go call on a few more clients or whatever. I would submit, in today's world, no matter what you do, what the product or service that you're bringing to the party, or even your unique reason and vision and value, I would submit that there's 100 other people that do the same thing, right? So why would they go with you? Well, because if you know the three things, if you know your vision, if you know where you're going, guess what? People will begin to align with you. Your message will be clear. You can help somebody like Jenna or somebody else, or your marketing plan. You can craft your message, right? My message is, why am I here? Where am I going? What am I doing? And if it resonates with me, guess what? I might be a customer or a partner or just an advocate, just a promoter. If I don't know any of those things, do you think I'm going to be less likely to resonate with you, to buy your product, to buy your service, to promote your company? Makes sense, right? So the power of vision is very clear. And then the thing that we deal with in the vision challenge that's the number 2 bullet here, it's if you decide today or any day in the future, whenever you decide just to keep motivating forward and not worry about this thing called vision, guess what? 95%. This is actually a statistic. This is one of the reasons why the My Wellbeing Compass came after me for visioning, for wellness, for health people, is that 95% of the thoughts when you wake up in the morning, and I don't mean just thoughts, I mean emotions, where do you think they came from? Your past, your history. The things, if you don't consciously do something to rewire or reprogram or move forward on a different path or tweak your path, if you don't do that, your history will become your destiny. If you love your history and you don't want to change anything and you want to end up where you started or end up where you are, don't have a vision. Don't bother, because you will. That zombie will ultimately take you to a destination you don't even know what it is. And you wake up at some point, like I did on a plane. Even some people would look at it and say, that wasn't a bad deal. You had a 7-digit income. You lived in a 7,500 square foot house. You had 5 kids and they were all driving new cars. It was a great deal. Guess what it wasn't? It wasn't my unique vision. It wasn't the reason. That wasn't why I was here. Other people told me that was valuable. It made me feel good that other people said I was important. It made other people, that people were willing to pay me that kind of money or whatever, right? But it didn't match my highest value. It didn't align with my vision. And I've been on a journey ever since that point. I was on a journey before, I just didn't know it, to really follow my life's purpose, not just with my kids, with my community, with the people that I want. Okay? Now, the journey is simple. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about, vision is not a destination. Vision is a journey. And it's an ongoing journey. If you start out walking here and you walk west or east or north or south, will you ever reach, if you keep looking forward, will you ever reach the horizon?
No.
Vision is always on the goals. Yeah, I got to mile marker number, or I got to Oklahoma. Have you ever done these cross country? I drove my daughter from Dallas to Seattle in a blizzard. Okay, you know, believe me, I was counting every state and I was going through. But the vision was, we're going to make it in one piece, and my number 3 daughter was going to be the nanny for my number 1 daughter, and that was the vision. And we were going to get there. It took a lot longer to get there in the snowstorm, and it was a lot more treacherous, but the vision kept me sustained through that. Does that make sense? So it is a journey. The first step is wake up. In any room with this number of people and on the video, I will tell you this. Somebody, and maybe more than one somebody, will walk out of this room without waking up. First step is to wake up, to realize that you're not on the path. Like I woke up on the plane. Wake up and then realize I'm not at my destination. I have a journey from here, and this is what it looks like. Here's my reason, vision. Okay, this is what I want to do. The second step is get some clarity and discover and get some clarity around what that vision is. That, in my methodology and the process that I promote and use, is what I call the vision challenge. What we had here in the Business Growth Network and whatever, it's a tool. And the intention there is you getting connected with those things. And then the third one is transform, obviously, and that is the next step is a journey. So wake up, get a vision, and transform. Those are the 3 steps. Okay? The next one is, in the wake up stage, I have 3 things that can help you wake up. The one that we use in Business Growth Network, which is depending on where you are in your journey, is what we call the zombie quiz. There's a zombie quiz, and you take that. It's 10 questions, real easy. There's 3 statements with each quiz. You take the statement that most aligns, and it tells you how much of a zombie you are, in case you're questioning whether you are a zombie. Again, most people I know, if I talk to them very long, explain what a zombie is, I'm a zombie. I am infected. I am still infected. We're all infected. It's like if you're in the wellness business, we all have cancer cells. You know that, right? We all have cancer cells. You know, we all, nobody was escaped. We all have cells that don't work right. It's just whether or not we're living a lifestyle and we're working on things that keep those down as opposed to let those grow. Does that make sense? It's the same thing with other aspects of our lives, other aspects of wellness, if you will, in our business. There are things that serve us and things that don't. But reality of it is, everything in your business is intended for good. Literally everything in your business and your life that you are experiencing right now is something you ought to be thankful for. Because guess what? In your physical life, one of the things in my book is there's 2 things required for you to become the adult you are today, right? One of them is what? The one we always think of, support. Parents, food, somebody's taking care of you, you go through. So we all seek support. And we all look at support as serving us, helping our business, right? But the other part of us, how we are made, is challenge. And the interesting thing is, if you go back and look at your life and you look back, it's hard to look forward or look at something in the mountain in front of you right now. But if you look at everything in your life with the intention of figuring out how it served you, why you should be thankful for that, you will find it, because it's all there. The negative thoughts you have versus the positive. Okay, it's you with me? So it's a very clear thing that we all need to do. So anyway, wake up. On my Wellbeing Compass, I have my mind score, my body score. It actually gives you the ability to look at limiting thoughts in the mind score and body score. Body score is chronic illnesses focused on things, both proprietary, both we're patenting and so on and so forth. Those are charged. Zombie quiz is free. That's one of the wake-ups, and that's just a little advertising. The second one is a vision challenge. I'm not going to get into that. I mentioned it several times here. It's a 5-day journey, really, of discovery and clarity. And we're in the process of upgrading that and whatever. So, but just be aware that it's a 5-day journey. It's 5 steps, which the discovery of determining your unique reason and your unique value, which make up your identity that I talked about before, and then your unique vision. That's the experiences you seek. You know that when I drove a Jaguar XKR convertible, that I didn't set out, my real goal for having that wasn't to drive that, it was the experience that I was going to get. It was the fact that people would look at that and go, oh, that's the same one that was on, one of the James Bond movies or whatever. I mean, I was looking to have the experience of people being impressed, to be honest. So you buy a house in a particular neighborhood not because you want that house, it's because you want to go to those schools, you want the kids to have the experiences of work. You with me? So your unique vision is a journey towards your ideal day, and we talk about that. And we get a holistic view of that because there's trade-offs there. And then lastly, if anything were possible, the experiences. So finally, the vision challenge. I hit the wrong button. And the last thing is transform. Transform has 3 steps. Transform has 3 steps. Alignment, daily action, and beginning to live your ideal day. That process is one that, again, I don't spend a lot of time with, but you must ultimately embark on an alignment to that nebulous or that high-end vision that you have that may cover all areas of your life, but you'll only get full clarity on where you're going if you begin that vision, that process of alignment. Does that make sense? Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to share this with you, and then I'm going to give you one little quote that I love. This is actually what we call, this is the output of the Vision Challenge, or not the only. It sets you up for, remember I said daily action? Anybody hear of NLP, visioning, affirmations? They're all here in this. But they're all here in a way that actually can change your behavior, reprogram that 5%, that 95%, whatever. And it's a tool to be used every day. And I use, this is mine. It's not yours. If you come out of the Vision Challenge, we can help you build one of those, but I'm gonna share this with you. And I'll talk through it. So my unique reason is to change the world one dream at a time. You heard that already today, right? I remind myself, by helping aspiring leaders elicit, clarify, accelerate realization of their dream vision. Those are my words. I'm talking to myself. You understand? I'm reading this when I'm watching it. My unique value is empowering individuals to inspire daily actions, emotions, habits, enabling positive transformation. Again, that's mine. That's my unique value. That's what I believe I bring to the party. My unique vision comes after this, and then I spend the rest of the time really talking about how this is still my value here, but my unique vision is my six-pack abs. I didn't tell you the story of my health vision or my health journey, but what was it, 2 years ago, I said somebody my age needs to get rid of this, and I want a six-pack, because that means health. I started on that journey and I'm 60 pounds lighter and no meds, and it was all driven by vision and then saying, I really do want that. I'm going to really take action. These are things that matter to me. Yours would be different. When I'm making my day, I'm attracting all the money to not only myself, but the people that I'm working with. And I have latest technologies, tools, support systems. These are all things that I'm manifesting. And remember, manifesting is not a magical thing. If you're into The Secret, the fact there was a lot of work done and planning done to write that book. And it would never have happened without a real plan. By the way, the other thing about this is these are pictures, many of them that are my pictures. That's my granddaughter right there, the one I'm getting ready to go see in a week or so. Because my values are really around the family and the people in my life that I can have a pet. So anyway, that tool is a square format video that's on my phone that I literally, first thing I get up in the morning after I do, the biological things, is watch that video, do a little meditation, get my mind around. That's why I woke up this morning. Before I go to bed, I also plant that seed again. And I do that. And there's not magic there because it's mine. I'm reminding myself. So the thing is, if you got anything out of this today or not, I want to read you just one simple quote, and that is, if you're coming here today feeling like you're on the top of the world, or you came in here today being frustrated with, okay, I don't know what my vision is, the proverb goes, take no credit, take no blame. Focus on your key aim. I love you, and thank you is the name of the game. Where are we at? time-wise?
We got 2 more minutes before thank yous and announcements.
Okay. So any questions or any comments or anything would help me. I'm always, this is a journey, I'm actually trying to find a TED stage with a version of this, and so this is actually, and Jenna will tell you, it's taken a little different form, mainly focused on why vision, why it's powerful, because not
So is the idea we all create our own video like that for ourselves?
Well, I actually do that. I output the first thing in today, and this isn't always going to be true, right, Jenna? But right now, the first thing that I monetize, I've given away the previous versions of the Vision Challenge. So that 5-day journey that we talk about is free. It's only going to be that for a little bit.
Till the end of February.
Do we know what we're going to? Anyway, we don't have
7 to
to.
13.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Based
nominal
on some
amount.
partners.
The thing is, it's so trivial to me. There's a reason for charging for it. At least if you invested something, maybe you'll finish it and get through it.
It's not just marketing, it's because people feel like when they pay for something,
Right.
they're more inclined to go through
Yeah,
it.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
that's
interesting
amazing.
thing is, and some of you know, I know Jeff knows this and Jenna knows this, but the Vision Challenge was modeled after a one-to-one consulting methodology that I was using working with CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies. It was that 4-hour thing I referred to. And so it has the components of that, and what they paid. The hardest thing was getting them for the 4 hours, to be honest with you. But what they paid for the 4 hours, anybody have a guess? That I haven't already told. It's $20,000, $20,000.
And that was the
4
first
hours.
meeting of several.
Right. Oh yeah. No. The deal is that my mentor in this working with corporations now is somewhat expiring to me because I did that for so many years, and it's kind of reminds me of the past, and I'm on a bridge to the future or a bridge from the future. They would pay $20,000, but guess what? When they got out of the breakthrough and they realized this is what I want to do you think they did it? You
No.
bet. You bet. They did.
When you
No, they
pay
did.
20 grand,
When you pay 20 grand, it's hard to
influence.
explain to your board that I just spent 4 hours and paid 20 grand. Don't have any.
You do a
You
reorganization.
do a real good job of figuring it out. So 0, people get halfway through it, or they hit a rough patch, or they, kids get sick and they forget about it and they go on and they don't care. So there's somewhere in between that. But anyway, the first thing I monetize at this juncture is the Vision Challenge, which takes about 4 hours, 2 hours with you, and 4 hours out after you've done the Vision Challenge. And it's, I think it charges $190.
I'll put a link on the board before.
So, but anyway, that's there, and that way, if you come out with that information, that information is put in, and then you have to contribute some pictures and words that we'll come up with words and things. But it's it's about a 4 hour, and for what it's worth, it's a couple $1,000s worth of value for $199. So it's not. I mean, when I look at the value of my time and energy, and it'll be priceless to you, trust me. So that's that. So yes, Jeff, thanks for asking the question. Any other questions about this, or observations, or thoughts? I think I'm full of crap. That's okay too. Yeah.
Yeah, this really resonated with me. The one thing that really stood out that I believe that is really essential is the mindset piece. Because if you don't have your mindset right, then even if you have a vision, it's going to be hard to create aligned goals to meet that, because your mindset and all the thoughts in here are going to get in the way. And that's a lesson that I learned last year, where I had my wake-up call to really work on the mindset before I ever moved forward on my vision.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we all have the various obstacles and limiters in our world. Once you become self-observant and self-aware, and you know where you're going, you can identify the obstacles in your way and the things you need to do. That's how I identified that I needed to be healthier. It wasn't because I just said I want to change my diet and do and change my lifestyle. It's not a diet; it's change my lifestyle. So, and it over time results in things. So that's that. We need to. Yes, ma'am.
How did you find, I don't know, your mindset, but basically the actions adhering to that mindset in bettering your health and achieving your health? Because there are so many other things that we can do, and all that, and then you
Yeah, I was
run
working
late
out
and do
up to
this
that
and do
point.
that.
Yeah, up to that
And
point, I was
it's a
working.
matter of deciding, and it's like one word,
Mhm.
but Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah, you gotta decide.
sometimes deciding and having the vision, because I did have kind of a vision and I knew I needed to, you know, kind of thing. But you also have to find things that work.
Yeah.
Things that actually start moving you down that path. And then once you have a plan and that plan is beginning to execute, it encourages you further down. And mine started, the major shift was really, I changed diet in a way, basically cut out carbs and a lot of other things like
Yeah,
that.
because I shouldn't need
Yeah.
a lifting partner. I shouldn't need to pay a personal trainer.
If you need, here's the deal, this is a fundamental, this is free.
Mhm.
If you need motivation or whatever, then you're not inspired.
That,
And that is the problem.
when the vision is big enough and it means something,
Right,
Yeah.
it's
And that's
inspiration.
inspiration.
I am not intending here to motivate you in any way,
Right.
because that's external. I want to inspire you. The Vision Challenge and everything I do is intended to inspire you
Yeah.
to elicit or discover your vision, what inspires you. Because once it inspires you, to live to 120 years and play with my great-great-grandchildren,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I want, and I want to be able to do that.
the vision should almost
That's
make
my
you cry.
vision for my health.
Yes. Yes.
That's really what motivated me, is I got seeing my grandkids and thinking about, I want to be able to run and play and be healthy. And to be healthy, I needed to carry a lot less of me around, and I needed to get rid of some fat and a couple of other things. And I needed to quit taking all the drugs and the pharmaceuticals and everything that I was putting into my body, because it was defeating my own miraculous. Because we're all miraculous creations. You know that, right? We all are, and therefore, you, not only your vision but your body is able to move itself forward. So, do we have any thank yous, Jenna? You want to?
Well, just a round of applause. I think David did a great job. And like I said, I put the URL up there. We got a pretty little link shortener too, so I don't have to give you the great big one, a little sweet one. And I'll be fixing that and making sure it's all operable today as soon as y'all get the heck out of my office. Just kidding, we love you. But I am not one of those people that's like super hyper emotional. I'm like kind of military and cold and trained to be that way. But I do really appreciate everyone for taking the time to come out and meet everyone else and me getting to see people. Obviously, there's probably another 100 different questions that you could ask David. And if you go through this, there's even more questions and you're gonna want help. I can tell you right now, he has a separate free to join Facebook group called the Vision Challenge. It's super hard to memorize, so just write that down. And then inside of our own Business Growth Network paid group for our members. And I say that one specifically because it is a smaller group. It is not open, and so we have found that certain people going through the Vision Challenge prefer that tighter group of members to really ask the deeper questions that nobody wants to answer in a group, right? So the best way to get access is there. Second one,
What's there? I'm sorry, another meetup?
no, that
No,
one is
it's
a Facebook group.
it's a
So if you
private-
need
private
consulting,
Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
or you have lots of questions, that's good. That is for the Vision Challenge, and then if anybody has any thank yous or announcements, start with Jeff and move back around the room real quick.
Okay, we'll just go quickly. You don't have to. If you don't have anything, it's fine. Just
Pass. Go ahead, Jeff. Thanks for booking me for next week.